Hello everybody and welcome to my video of easily the most serious camera ever made. Why does it have cupcakes, donuts, and ice cream stickers on it? Because I got those and why not? So anyway, this is the Robot3 action camera that was made and sold on eBay and AliExpress a number of years ago. I don't know if they're still made and sold there or not. I didn't check recently. It is often called the Disderi Robot 3 action camera, although I've never seen anything in the manufacturer's materials or on their old historic website that mentioned Disderi. This is a toy-grade 35mm action camera. It has no meter, a leafish guillotine shutter for each of the three lenses, a shutter speed of approximately 1/100th of a second, according to the little tiny pamphlet that came with this, but I'll tell you what, the shutter speeds on mine certainly look a whole lot slower than that. Fixed focus from 1 meter to infinity, and it shoots 3 images in sequence onto 1 negative. Really quickly, you can see here what those look like with 3 different image areas, a wide and flat one, and 2 kind of standard shaped ones. This camera was aimed at the toy and lo-fi user market, and when I bought it, it was $5 brand new on eBay. That was 8 years ago if it was a day. So I think last time I checked on these was about a year or so ago, and they were going for a bit more than that. It is all plastic except for, I believe there might be some metal springs in the shutter mechanism. The lens quality on these is low. I think that's fair to say. There is no tripod socket on it. There's no ability to switch from simultaneous to sequential or back and forth shutter timing. Some of the action cameras, by the way, can take 4 images at the same time or sequential images. This is just sequential. One last thing to let you know that this is a fun camera is that it's cute. Go on. Name a single serious camera that you would describe as cute. I'll wait. Okay, I'm done waiting. For production, this was made probably, a lot of conjecture here, by Sino Promise or another similar Chinese mainland toy-grade camera company that makes plastic cameras. And it is very hard to track down information about the Chinese camera making industry, especially companies from even 10 years ago. So it could have been a completely different company I've never heard of that made these, but there is no indication on them about who made them, only that they were made in China. It was distributed by Vast Frame Camera of Hong Kong, and it went into production, insofar as I can tell, and may only have been produced for a short time, around 2007 to 2008. That was the best that I could piece together. I picked this one up, I want to say, in about 2013. As for the predecessors and descendants, who knows if it was preceded by anything. Like I said, the Chinese camera market and lens and camera production market, they are far from transparent. So it's very hard to research information about them. It was concurrent with the Vast Frame Twinkle 2 and Action 4, which were similar to this. One of them, the Twinkle 2, took 2 photos, and the Action 4 took 4. And then it was followed by, insofar as I can tell, nothing. I don't think there was another model of this. So as we're going to do, we're going to give this the full camera manual treatment and go over all of the features on it. Starting on the top, we have the film rewind knob and lever, which are what you will use to rewind your film when you're done taking a photo. We have the framing window, so you can look through that and kind of get an idea about what's going to be in your photos. We have the frame count window right there, shutter release button. On the front of the camera, we have 2 donuts, a cupcake, and some ice cream, your 3 taking lenses, and the robot face. On the bottom of the camera, we have the film rewind release button. On the back of the camera, we have more ice cream, another donut, and another cupcake, and your film advance dial right there. On this side, below the ice cream cone, we have your camera strap, which is molded into the body of the camera. And on this side, above the cupcake, we have your film back release. This is what the inside of the camera looks like. Over here, we have the film cassette chamber, which is where you put the film to load it to take your photos. Shutter window over here. This is where the image will be recorded. And if you can see the shape of these 3 bars, that is reproduced on your negative. Now those 3 bars don't quite touch the negative, so there's a little bit of overlap. Then this gearing mechanism right here catches the sprocket holes in your film and is what actually arms the shutter. So as you advance the film, they turn this gear and that does all of the mechanical work. Film take-up spool over here. And as you can see, this is unconnected to the film advance mechanism. Even though the shutter is armed right now, there is nothing in here that's going to stop this from advancing over and over again. Nope, now the shutter's armed. Oh, I take that back. The film advance is locked when the shutter's armed. And that's what the shutter sounds like. Over here on the back of the camera, we have these film pressure grooves. Now, one of the reasons I think that this is made by a company like Sino Promise is if you look at companies like, or cameras like the Double Film Show, which I believe is made by them because they made the Kodak version of the Double Film Show, it has this exact same pattern for the film pressure lines and also this exact same dot pattern on the back of the camera. So there's a lot of construction similarity between this and other cameras they've made. And if you are curious about that, I happen to have my Double Film Show right here. So you can see dot pattern is exactly the same. The general shape of some of the angles on the film door is also the same. Oh, and then I've taped up my ridges because they destroy the backs of my films. Anyway, so there are some similarities. Also, the film rewind knobs here appear to have the exact same molding. So anyway, I'm sticking to my theory on that being who made this. There we go. Okay, while we have the film back open, let's load some film. I'm going to take a roll of 35mm film. I'm going to drop it into the film cassette chamber, and then we're going to put... Now, before you load the film, by the way, make sure I start this and do this correctly. You need to make sure that your film rewind knob is popped all the way up. And then you load this, and then we're going to push the film rewind knob into place. And maybe... There we go. Almost there. That's got it. Okay. We know it's in place when it's flush. Now we're going to pull out a bit of a leader. I'm going to start advancing this until we see a catch right here. And this is the exact same catch, by the way, on the Double Film Show take-up. We're going to hook in a sprocket hole to that catch and hold on to this film until it makes a full loop, which we can see kind of... There we go. It's made a full loop now. Now we're going to just lay this in place, let it start engaging the gears up here. And at some point, this should arm the shutter. Well, let's try closing the back and seeing if that helps. That does. Okay. In order to arm the shutter, the back of the camera has to be closed. Now we're at start. So we're going to take a couple of photos here. And it just reset, didn't it? It sure did. Oh boy, I have that problem a lot with these toy-grade plastic cameras. At any rate, you advance it a couple of frames just to get to frame 1, and then it should start counting. And then you just go about your day taking your photos. Let's see if it... Yeah, this is not going to get past start for me, is it? Okay. So at any rate, if you have a properly working version of this, that should keep advancing. Now, one thing about film, if you're new to it, is that film is one and done. So it can record light to create an image in a controlled manner with a proper shutter speed and aperture, or it can record light and not create an image by being exposed to light in an uncontrolled manner like this. So when you're using a film camera, you don't want to open up the back of your film because you will erase every photo that's been taken or could be taken by doing that. So the film needs to be run through chemistry before you can see any images on it. So, but I want you to see what's going on in this camera as we take photos with it. Do you take a photo and you advance it? There we go. And the sprocket holes engaging that sprocket gearing are what run the mechanics that arms the shutter. Okay, so you've gone through the day, you've taken your entire roll of film, and at this point you just start rewinding, correct? No, you don't, because if you start rewinding like this, something in your camera will break. So you have to hold the film rewind button down. That takes tension off of the shutter and allows you to now start rewinding the film. Now remember, you need to do all of this while the back of your camera is still closed. You rewind your film all the way, and at this point you can now open up the back of your camera. We're going to lift the film rewind knob, which is never an easy proposition with these. There we go. I always feel like I'm about to break it. Lift the film rewind knob, take out the film that you just used, and then you're going to grab your next roll of film and drop it in, or if you're done shooting for the day, just close this all up and go on. All right, so I mean, we've seen it a bunch already, but let's talk about how to take a picture with this camera. What you'll want to do is flip this guide up. Maybe. Doesn't matter all that much, really. Look through it, sight up your scene, and take your photo. When you're done, then you advance your camera. And then when you've got another shot you want to take your photo and repeat. And that's it. It's really very, very simple to use. Honestly, a fun, completely relaxing way to take photos and get some fun, no stress. These are not going to be amazing shot results from your film photography. For double exposures, there are none. This camera can't do double exposures. So I do have some tips for you about how to make the most out of your Disderi Robot 3 action camera. The first thing is plan shots that show a sequence, not simultaneous action. So for instance, if you have shots where you have a friend doing a kickflip on their skateboard, this could actually be kind of fun for that because you could show the sequence of the kickflip. Be very blurry, but you could show it. If you have a picture of a dog jumping over a hurdle or whatever, you could do that as well. Things that show a sequence will work really well. The next thing you want to do is keep at least 1 meter between you and your subject, preferably about 1.5 meters, because while this is in focus from 1 meter to infinity, its best focus is really about 1.5 meters, which in freedom units, you can call it 5 feet. You also want to embrace the curved image areas that this can produce, as that can be a fun and challenging aspect of image composition. As for some things not to do with your camera, look, they're pretty robust because there's not that much metal in them. Realistically, no one's going to look on your car seat and say, hey, I want to steal that. They probably don't have any lubricating oil to get thick or thin in them. So I guess realistically, just it is plastic. So don't expect it to last forever. And as long as you have it, I mean, don't go swinging it around by the wrist strap or something like that and having it fly off into traffic or whatever like that. But, I mean, cameras of this caliber aren't meant to be heirlooms. They're meant to be used and enjoyed for as long as they last, and then something happens to them one day. Go with it and just enjoy them. Thank you for watching this video. Please give me a thumbs up. That lets me know that I'm on the right track producing content which is useful and helpful to you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those in the comments section below. I'm pretty good about checking these every couple of days and answering questions. If you have any suggestions or ideas for future videos, and if I have the technical know-how and equipment, I'm more than happy to make those. One last thing. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I gotta get up, Steinbeck. I have to turn off the camera.